All right, so you want to land your dream job,
Well,
obviously.
of course, right?
Oh,
But sometimes it feels like getting there means you got to kind of conquer this, like,
this beast.
yeah, this beast, this interview.
There's a whole thing.
It is. And to help us slay this beast, we're diving deep into a guide called Do's and Don'ts of Interview Skills.
Yeah.
And let me tell you this thing, it's got some real gems.
It does. It goes way beyond just the usual, like, wear a suit and show up on time stuff.
Exactly. It really digs deep into the psychology of interviewing, how to present yourself authentically and like actually connect with the people across the table.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, it's all about connection, isn't it?
Absolutely. So let's start with the foundation, shall we? Preparation. I mean, the guide is crystal clear on this. This research is non-negotiable.
Non-negotiable.
Like, you got to know your stuff. And we're not talking about just skimming their website here.
Right.
We're talking about going deep, like really understanding their mission values, even their challenges.
You need to know what they're looking for. Why are they hiring for this role? Right? So that when you walk in, you can actually speak to those needs.
It's like, think about it like dating.
Okay.
You wouldn't just show up to a first date knowing like their name and what they do for a living, right?
I mean, some people might, but
Some people might, but
not for a deep connection, right?
ideally you'd want to have some like actual conversations beforehand, get to know them.
Show that you're interested.
Exactly. And it's the same with a job interview. You got to show that you've done your homework.
And then there's the classic advice, right? Practice those common interview questions.
Oh, yeah, the dreaded, tell me about yourself.
Why should we hire you? Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Those can trip anyone up if you're not ready.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But here's where the guide gets really interesting. It calls out being unprepared as like a huge red flag.
Oh, yeah. It's like the kiss of death in an interview.
Because it basically screams, I don't respect your time enough to prepare.
Right. Exactly.
Not the message you want to send.
Not at all.
All right, so you've done your research, you've practiced your answers.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about first impressions.
Okay.
Because those first few moments, those are crucial.
They really are.
The guide really emphasizes this, and they get into the nitty-gritty too, like professional attire, a firm handshake, being on time.
The basics, but so important.
Right. And it's not about being stuffy or anything. It's about showing respect.
Yeah, it shows you take the opportunity seriously.
And it projects confidence.
Huge.
Because if you show up late or, looking like you just rolled out of bed.
Or you're fiddling with your phone while they're talking to you.
Oh, yeah, that's a bad look.
Major red flag.
It just sends the wrong message.
Totally.
Okay, so you've nailed the first impression. Now you're in the hot seat. It's time to answer those questions.
A moment of truth.
And for those tricky behavioral questions, that tell me about a time when you had to deal with a difficult customer or whatever. Guide has a brilliant strategy.
Oh, yeah. What's that?
The STAR method.
The STAR method.
Have you heard of this?
I have. Tell us more.
So STAR stands for Situation, Task, Action, Result.
Okay.
And it's not just some random acronym. It's actually a really powerful way to structure your answers.
How so?
So basically, it forces you to think about your experiences in a way that directly relates to the skills they're looking for.
So instead of just rambling, you're telling a concise story.
Exactly. And you're highlighting your strengths.
Showing, not just telling.
I love it.
Me too.
But okay, let's talk about the elephant in the room.
Uh-oh.
Discussing weaknesses.
Everyone's least favorite question.
I know. It feels like a trap.
Right? Like anything you say could be used against you.
Totally. But the guide actually gives some really solid advice here.
Lay it on me.
They say honesty is key, but you got to frame it positively.
Okay.
It's about demonstrating self-awareness and a growth mindset.
So instead of saying I'm terrible at public speaking,
You could say something like, I used to struggle with public speaking, but I've been taking a course and practicing regularly, and I've seen a lot of improvement.
that's so much better.
Right, because it shows you're not afraid to acknowledge your weaknesses and that you're actively working on them.
You're turning a negative into a positive.
Exactly. Now, another thing the guide emphasizes is body language.
Oh, yeah, that's so important.
People underestimate this all the time.
They do.
But your body language, it's speaking volumes even when your mouth is shut.
It's like a secret language.
So things like good posture, making eye contact, using natural hand gestures, those all signal that you're engaged and interested.
And on the flip side, things like slouching, crossing your arms, fiddling with your phone.
Or yawning,
Yeah, those are big no-nos.
because they make you seem disinterested, even if you're saying all the right things.
Your body language needs to match your words.
Absolutely.
Oh.
All right, so the interview's over. You're feeling good. But the guide stresses that there's one more crucial step,
What's that?
the follow-up.
Oh, yeah, you can't forget about the follow-up.
They recommend sending a thank you note within 24 hours,
Makes sense.
but not just a generic thank you. They say you should reiterate your interest in the position.
Okay.
I mentioned something specific that you discussed during the interview.
So they know you were paying attention.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It shows you really value the conversation.
That's a great tip.
I thought so too. But what if you don't hear back after a week?
Good question.
Well, the guide says it's perfectly acceptable to send a polite follow-up email.
Okay.
Just, checking in, reiterating your interest.
Not being pushy, but just showing that you're still keen.
Exactly.
It makes sense.
So there you have it, folks. We've covered a lot of ground today.
We have.
From the importance of thorough preparation to nailing those first impressions
To answering those tricky questions.
and mastering the subtle art of body language.
And of course, the all-important follow-up.
But as you gear up for your next interview, I want to leave you with this one thought.
Hit us with it.
Beyond all these tips and tricks, what makes you you? What unique qualities and experiences do you bring to the table?
The things that make you stand out from the crowd.
Exactly. Because at the end of the day, that's what's going to make a lasting impression.
It's not just about ticking boxes. It's about showcasing your authentic self.
So go out there and rock those interviews. We'll catch you on our next deep dive.
Good luck, everyone.